I was this close to buying the cheapest YouTube camera that I could find. Then I almost convinced myself an APS-C hybrid was more than enough. And somehow I ended up pre-ordering a $3,000 camera. I've been a Canon shooter for 13 years and I just cheated on my 5D Mark IV with a Sony A7 V. And I have a very good reason for it. If you are stuck between full frame APS-C or the voice in your head saying, dude, just buy the cheapest camera that turns on. Camera! This video is for you and basically my therapy session for torturing myself to pick the right camera for the past 3 months. So stay tuned.
Alright, start the torture.
So here's my problem, and honestly tell me if this makes me ancient. I've been shooting on a Canon 5D Mark IV for the past years. Yes, a DSLR. And apparently in 2025 that automatically qualifies me for a museum exhibit. But here's the thing. Canon 5D Mark IV is a beast for photographs. I take it on my travels, shot, various dance performances, wedding, portraits, hikes, all the fun stuff. Photography me absolutely loves this camera. But the moment I hit record for video, the camera looks at me like, hey man, you sure about that?
4K cool. I'll just pose everything, including your mistakes.
Guess I deserve that. And I feel bad even talking like this because this beautiful camera is staring right into my soul while I'm recording this. It turns out, wait a minute, it took me out of focus. Hey, this was about other 5Ds, not you, okay? That took some convincing. Thank you. Now let's go back to the video. The 5D shoots 4K in MJPEG, motion JPEG codec, which means every single frame is separate with almost no compression and highest of quality. Translation, the files are enormous. 2 minutes of recording gives you 15 to 20 GB of data. So my SD card and hard drives have an emotional duet. Final Cut Pro has a midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis at 12 o'clock.
And on top of that, 1.74x crop in 4K. So you can understand why the video me is quietly dying inside. Now for folks who are still on Canon 5D Mark IV, I have good news for you. You can use FFMPEG tool to compress your videos without losing quality. Let me know in the comments if you need help, I can share my tips there. But mind it becomes an additional step in the workflow and at a point takes a toll. Now back to my topic. Now I shoot a mix of photos and videos. I cover events like dance performances, weddings. I take a lot of portraits, I travel a lot, I hike a lot, so a lot of landscapes. And I love to take street portraits. And now a growing amount of YouTube content like talking head videos, podcasts with technology experts, gear reviews. So I might end up with a 2-camera setup one day. I hope so, fingers crossed. Now I'm trying to turn this channel into something genuinely useful, and with your support, I might actually pull it off. If you want to grow along with me, I really appreciate your likes, comments and subs. Enjoy the video. And to do that, I need a true mirrorless hybrid. Something that survives low light, fast movement and content creation without melting my SSD, of course. I need better video, better autofocus, better workflow, and honestly, a camera that doesn't punish me for hitting record. So that brings me to the crossroads. I have been stuck way too long. Should I go for full frame? Should I go for APS-C hybrid? But that means I'm downgrading from a full frame camera, or the cheap creator camera route, Canon versus Sony. And there are other alternatives as well. But I picked these two because these are top of the market and give very good hybrid mirrorless cameras. These are my 3 tiers of camera chaos. So the first tier, the top tier, is the full frame hybrid cameras. These are your heavy hitters. Canon R5, R6 lineup, Sony Alpha 7 series. Full frame camera come with great benefits. Better low light performances, cleaner high ISO, more dynamic range, shallower depth of field, wider field of view at the same focal length. Prices, that's where your wallet goes to cry.
My wallet's gone! My wallet's gone!
The camera bodies go around for $2,000 to $3,000. The lenses, $700 and up for any decent lens. The second is the mid tier, the APS-C hybrid cameras. Examples, Sony Alpha 6700. Still hybrids, they're super capable, great autofocus, strong video features. It's just the sensor is smaller and some even share the same sensors as the top tier cameras. They have lighter body and cheaper lenses. Lenses start around $300. And the third is the lower tier APS-C. These are creator cameras, come for around $800 to $1,000. Example is Sony ZV-E10 to Canon R6 V. They are perfect for talking head videos. Casual B-roll, vlogging, great for YouTube though, but not ideal to cover big events. But they are not hybrids, they are just for videos. Now here begins my 3 phases of overthinking. Phase 1, just buy the cheapest camera for YouTube. This was the logical entry point. It works perfect for YouTube videos. But when I imagine what I shoot, events, performances or travel, a YouTube focused camera didn't make any sense and my brain said, please don't do this. So that's why we go to phase 2. APS-C hybrid is enough, right? The Sony Alpha 6700 tempted me so hard, I started looking used deals on Facebook Marketplace and other places. It has modern autofocus with AI-enabled sensors, strong hybrid features, affordable system, lightweight, cheaper lenses. What else do you need, right? But APS-C is fantastic, but not ideal for the low-light dynamic scenes I often deal with.
The light is on.
I would have eventually upgraded to full frame anyways. And now comes the exciting part, phase 3. Okay, let's be honest, I wanted a full frame camera. Full frame just fits everything I do. Low light events, high dynamic range, landscapes, portraits with depth. Definitely good for YouTube environments. And a familiar look I already love from the full frame camera I have. So I finally admitted it. I think I knew this, I wanted a full frame, but looking at the prices, I always had this pullback of not going ahead with it, but I had to admit it, I wanted a full frame camera. So go full frame now, and later if YouTube thing really picks up, I will go for a ZV-E10 II or a video focused camera which would just focus on YouTube videos. But right now I think it makes sense because I already do a lot of photography and videography events. So it made sense to go with full frame. The final showdown, battle of the titans, Canon versus Sony. Once I finally made peace that I needed a full frame camera, the real drama began. The Canon versus Sony showdown. At first, I was comparing the Sony Alpha 7 IV with the Canon R6 Mark II. But then my overthinking superpower kicked in. I procrastinated so long that the camera world literally upgraded while I waited.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Canon announced the R6 Mark III. Sony announced the Alpha 7 V. See, my laziness finally paid off. Nobody believed me when I said doing nothing is sometimes a strategy. So now the matchup became Canon R6 Mark III versus Sony Alpha 7 V. Both brand new, both incredible, both full frame hybrids. Both workhorses. And switching systems, it's not easy. It's like moving out of an apartment you lived in for 10 years. It's emotional, it's expensive, and you keep discovering camera accessories you bought but never used, and you basically forgot you owned it, right? But I had to be practical, so I pre-ordered a Sony Alpha 7 V. And here's why Sony won. The lens ecosystem, the real reason people switch systems. Now, Canon RF lenses right now feel like a luxury mall. They are beautiful, good quality, premium, expensive, but they have very limited third-party support. On the other hand, Sony E-mount feels like an outlet mall of lenses. It has Sony G lenses, GM lenses, Sigma, Tamron, Viltrox, Samyang, Rokinon, and I'm pretty sure I'm missing few. It's a massive used market. For the next 5-10 years, that flexibility mattered. It means I can start with something affordable, experiment, upgrade when I want, and not take out a loan every time I want a new focal length. And this was one of the biggest reasons why I chose Sony. Yes, Canon did a good job here. Open gate versus no open gate. And why I still picked Sony. Yes, the Canon R6 Mark III camera features open gate, utilizing its full 32.5 megapixel sensor to capture 7K video. It's amazing if you want vertical plus horizontal versions of the same shot, more room to crop, cinematic reframing in post. Now, in simple words, what does it mean? In simple words, a lot of flexibility to convert your long form videos to shorts or reels. Sony Alpha 7 V does not have open gate. So why did I still choose Sony? Because I don't need 6K or 7K for YouTube. 4K is already plenty. YouTube itself maxes out at 4K. And honestly, 1080p looks great for most viewers. I can still reframe vertical videos in post if I plan my shots well. So while open gate is super cool, it wasn't a deal breaker for my workflow. Now, here's the third reason, future proofing. Sony gives me a clear upgrade path. Alpha 7 V as my main hybrid body, Alpha 6700 or ZV-E10 II as my future B cam for YouTube if it picks up. Options for tons of lenses, consistent color science plus menus, endless accessories. And I know Canon will eventually allow more third-party lenses into its ecosystem, but Sony makes it easier today. Now, autofocus. Canon R6 Mark III has excellent deep learning autofocus, no question. But the Sony A7 V brings a new sensor plus processor, a dedicated AI autofocus unit, subject recognition for humans, birds, animals, cars, trains, planes. It has rock solid tracking even when subjects turn, spin. This camera is so smart, I half expect it to flash a warning, like when I do my first recording.
Former Canon user detected. Please stop pressing the shutter like it's 2012.
For my work, moving dancers, unpredictable stage lighting, weddings, travel, that extra reliability matter. So the decision is made. And that's how I went from cheap creator camera to APS-C hybrid to full frame to Sony A7 V. This video isn't a deep dive into every spec on every camera. I'm only talking about the key differences that actually helped me make this decision. If you want full-on spec breakdowns and hardcore technical reviews, I usually watch Jared Polin and DP Review TV. They really push these cameras in real-world scenarios. If you are stuck in that full frame versus APS-C versus just buy something and start loop, I have been there. The best thing you can do is to decide based on your needs and use cases, your workflow and your budget, and pick what fits your needs. Drop a comment what you shoot and what you are debating. Once the A7 V arrives, I will do the unboxing, real-world event tests, and a Canon 5D Mark IV versus Sony A7 V maybe, like old love versus new crush. If you like what I say, I would really appreciate your support. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you soon.